What's up, fellas? Week 5? Oh my god, we're already in week 5. Week 5 recap, and yes, someone recreated I'm Just a Bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. I'm in love with Ja'Cory Crossky-Merritt. But don't forget the OG. Jaden's still around. I'll stop glazing the commies here, but just need to get that out. It felt good. All right, now that we're done with that, we can get into what really matters. Fantasy football. Here is our current standings. Scott survives another week. He's 5-0. We got 2 4-1 teams, a couple 3-2 teams, including yours truly. We will also get to that. And then down at the bottom, we have 3 teams with 1 win, and I will tell you, not much is looking up for those 3. We have a guest speaker and a guest statement today, so I'm not gonna fuck around. I'm just gonna get right into it. We're going to go to... Who are we going to? We're going to go to Sutton versus Scott, brought to you by a video from Scott.
Point. Fellas, coming to you live from Destin, Florida. The esteemed coach of Show Me Your TDs is here to talk about the historic moment in Fellas Fantasy right now. Show Me Your TDs is 5-0 after much hate, much slander, shit talk, whatever you want to call it. The time was this year for Show Me Your TDs to come back from the dead, and we are here. The slander was well-deserved, understood completely, but with hard work, determination, a great time at the commission's house for a draft. We're 5-0. Taking all teams right now, coming after me. I'm ready to go undefeated this year, win the ship, and start an absolute legacy in Fellas Fantasy. Destin, you all are welcome whenever you want. Please come down. Try and beat me on a Sunday through a Monday, Thursday, whatever you want, but you're always welcome here. Show Me Your TDs. Great season. We're going to keep the verb all the way through.
Yes, well said, Scott. Mr. 5-0. I would have to really go back and look, but it feels like people don't stay undefeated that long. We've had... I think Clay had a 2-loss season once. I've had a couple 3-loss seasons, but it's hard to win that many games. Scott was absolutely right. The previous slander was absolutely warranted. He has been historically horrendous, but it seems to have turned around. Thankfully, getting into this week, he listened to me. He finally dropped the Bengals defense. They had 2 points. The defense he picked up had 18. Scott won this game because he dropped the Bengals defense. That's just good management. That's staying on top of things. Maybe that's watching Kamish's videos for a little free advice, but that's good management. That wins games in this league. Well done. Let's see. Sutton actually had a decent week for this roster. Ertz, I don't know. Normally he's pretty good. Normally he's good for like 4 catches for 30 yards and maybe a touchdown. McCaffrey caught 1 bomb. You really need I think Terry and Pearsall are on your bench. You need them back. Ladd and Shaheed both had their first decent game. That bomb to Shaheed was fucking absurd. Holy shit. That guy is so fast. Let's see. Otherwise Sutton's team is just mid. There's a reason he has 1 loss. It's ugly over there for Mr. Sutton. Maybe he'll turn it around. Maybe not. God. Ugh. For Scott, Jake Ferguson is a cheat code this season. I think he's averaging like 18 points a game off the top of my head. He's easily tight end 1. He's got Achane, who's like a top 5 running back. This team is just steady. I don't think he's had any weeks that have been crazy, but he hasn't had any weeks that have been really bad. He's just been rocking like between 100 and 130 points every week. And in a 14-man league with 1 flex, that gets it done. Very, very big win here for Scott. I said in the group chat today, we've never had a loser who won more than 4 games. So Scott essentially just kept himself from doing the punishment this year. Good win. What a fun start. Fellas will have to come visit you in Destin. Looks great down there. All right, so next we will be getting into probably the best matchup of the week. There was a couple really good ones, but this one was awesome. It's going to take me a while to go through this because Mr. Evan Clay, after that night last night, sent me a statement. He was going to send a video, but he had to go straight to work. So here is his official statement after last night's loss. Fellas, I write to you in much despair as I weigh the current state of the Union here on the preservation. Losing on an ETN reception for negative yards stings like the Jackets on a big noon Saturday. That being said, there is no buzz from the Cougars. Us sportsmen know all too well defense wins championships. The abysmal Ravens defense gave up 48 to the Stroud boys, sinking my odds of victory against the Commish. This was a user error of which I take full responsibility. That being said, Baltimore should be the next spot to let the National Guard loose, as there is nothing capable of defending in that area. Despite our treacherous weekend, optimism must be recognized. Cassius has found him a rising star in Rico Dowdle, who combines with our White Knight CMC to create what many are calling the best RB tandem in Fantasy Fellas history. As I close my statement, I would like to open the door for trades with the assurance that I have grown into a man of fair dealings and peaceful negotiations. The days of being an instigator, gaslighter, and catalyst of chaotic mischief are exhausting and behind me. Fair. I'd like to recognize Leigh Ford for his sportsmanship and opportunity to share my thoughts with the league. We look forward to our next matchup with the Nick Fuentes fan club next week. Salutations, Cassius C. Clay, chairman of the board, Wilson's Cougar Preservations. I love the written statements. I don't read them beforehand, so I just read them. That was fantastic. He said it all. Baltimore defense probably shouldn't be starting them. Every single one of them's injured. Oh my God, that was good. Thank you, Clay, for that. That's going to be very fun on the rewatch. But anyway, getting into this matchup. Going into Monday Night Football, I needed 8.3 from Travis Etienne. And like Clay said in his statement, he got it on a play that netted him 4 negative yards. It was awesome. It was a great win. I win by 0.48 to go to 3-2 and drop Clay to 1-4. My team was just mid this week. I got lucky with the Jamar Chase game, but the team was mid. Clay's team, so many storylines. CMC is the second best player in fantasy. He's RB1. I think he'd be wide receiver 2 if you just took his wide receiver stats. Stevenson was a roller coaster. 2 touchdowns right after another one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen. It was insane. His wide receiver room is a joke. Judy and Iron Manor. I still don't know how to say that name. The Ravens defense was a cinema. Okay, Ford. I dropped Evan Ingram to pick up somebody, and then Clay picked him up, started him when Bowers went out, and he scored 13 against me. He'd had 14 combined all season. And, of course, Rico Dowdle. Holy fucking shit. 206 yards and a touchdown. I was just sitting there on Sunday just sweating. What the fuck's going on? It was horrendous. Oh, God. But, yeah, hell of a matchup. Very, very fun. Very sweaty Monday night. But I'll move on so I can talk about other people. All right, I'm moving on to what was the worst matchup this week because I only have 90 seconds to talk about it. Makozi's squad is potentially legit. We'll see next week when Fields and Wilson, that stack, gets to play the Denver defense. It might go a little different than playing against Dallas' shitty defense. But this team is solid. Genty's good. Debo, Garrett, and Nico are an elite wide receiver trio. And he gets Rice back soon. Hopefully Chuba's not out too long because starting the other ETN is not a good option. Bouchon's team. Oh, Makozi's 4-1, by the way. He's in a really good spot. Very good team. Bouchon's team is so bleh. This is why I chose to put him in my little 90-second slot here. This team is so fucking boring. Derrick Henry, it's almost time to start a dialogue about whether he should retire. Montgomery played against the worst defense in the league. He's not going to do that every week. A.J. Brown, holy fuck, the Eagles' offense is weird. He's starting Juju Smith-Schuster in the year of our Lord 2025. That's all you need to say about Bouchon's team. The only fun part about Bouchon's team is Tyler Warren. That guy is fucking sick, and I like watching him play football. I like watching the Colts play football. Bouchon's team is very bleh. Makozi's team is very good. And Makozi dog walk Bouchon up and down the street all weekend long. All right, welcome to part 2. once again, Pushan Makosi. Sorry I squeezed you guys in that little quick slot. To be fair, I've never really had confirmation that either of you watch my videos other than when I specifically call Pushan out. So, proof of life. That would be nice. Pushan, honestly, I think you might be in Boston now. Congrats. I think you have a job. Anyway, we got Cal versus Hayden. Cal was closer to one of the lower scorers this week. I think he was like the 9th or 10th lowest scorer. Gets a win, and not only did he win, he won by 25. The Cinco Magic, just utter, absolute bullshit, but that's why I picked him. He's so lucky he had Hayden this week because his team was incredibly mid. He had a pretty similar kind of performance to me where wide receiver 1 popped off, the rest of the team was just mid. He's an Egbuka merchant. That's just, it is what it is. No one else played well. He needs to figure... Cal has a weird team because obviously Bijan was on his bench on a bye. Bill was on his bench, which is fair. Bill hadn't broken out in fantasy yet. But when those two come back in, he's going to have Bijan, Bill, and Kenneth Walker the third, who even 9 is bad, but he's been solid. The problem is wide receiver 2. Tucker and Higgins have both been bad options so far. If he gets a wide receiver 2 somehow, this is a good team. Right now, it's uninspiring, but good management has gotten him to 3-2. This is a bad roster. Hayden, holy shit. Your team is just in shambles. This roster looks like you were in like a 32-man league with like the 20th pick and you fucked up and took Xavier Worthy. This is actually, fuck it. This looks like a 64-man league. This team sucks. You got Ridley's first double-digit performance. You got a Michael Carter game. And, I mean, Spencer Rattler, you got 16 and still only had 85. Worthy was in and out of that game with another little ding. But Mahomes throws it to fucking everybody, so I just don't know if his volume's there. Bucky seems to be out for a while. They said he had like a shoulder and an ankle. Ugh, Hayden, if Bucky doesn't come back, you are going to probably never win another game. Not with this roster. But yeah, Cal's feeling rich this afternoon. You got to win. Bill breakout game. Huge for Cal. All right, on to another one of our really close games. I got this one right too, but man, it was a sweat. Briggs survives against Brett's just absolutely banged up team. He had so many people out. CD's out. Lamar was out. I mean, I have it all written down who's Brett's missing, but it's ugly. I think he had 6 or 7 waiver guys start. He almost put it together. Jordan Mason, 12 points with a fumble against the Browns defense is wildly impressive. Zay Flowers did about as good as you can expect without Lamar. Waddle as wide receiver 1 looked great. And Tonges, or however you say his name, has stepped into Kittle's shoes great. Just couldn't get it done with Justice Hill. Bryce Young didn't look good. Isaiah Davis, not enough. It came down to Cam Little on Monday Night Football. He needed to get 13. He got 9. Briggs was sweating a little bit because Briggs' team laid an egg. Briggs is 4-1. This does not look like a 4-1 roster, but what do I know? I'm not 4-1. Hurts is a consistent 15-20. Chase Brown was taken probably mid-second round, and he looks like a drop at this point, or a flex. Not good. Amon-Ra is very good. Briggs is an Amon-Ra merchant. Yeah, just a fantastically mid performance this week by the Westover Waffle Stompers. But when you're going against a banged-up team like Brett, it's all you need. We're getting to the point in the season. Like I said last week, buys, injuries. It starts getting just who can keep like a half-decent roster out there. If you get to 100 points, you start to feel okay about your week. And that's what Briggs did, and it worked. So can't fault a guy for winning, even if it was ugly. This was a fun one. I think this was easily our highest scoring matchup. I think Kyle was our second highest scorer this week. Back-to-back weeks of 177 and 141 for Maish. People are whispering that Maish might be back. I'm a little concerned. This roster is very fun. He did this without Josh Jacobs, who was on bye. I think the only issue with Maish right now is now he's going to have to really manage this team and pick the right guys to start. Because I think right now he has Jacobs in, Rachaad White in, and Judkins on his bench. Judkins feels like kind of a must start now, but you can't start him over Jacobs. It's going to come down to a lot of roster management now. Maish finds himself in a good place with a lot of depth. Horrified of Maish's team while Bucky's out. Once Bucky comes back, Rachaad White will fade back into irrelevancy, but as of right now, scary, scary team. Who put up a great week, by the way. Rachaad White, 2 touchdowns. The Bucks are so awesome. Puka is fantasy player number 1 by a wide margin, and Kyle got Laporta's breakout game. What a win from Maish. If I had to power rank right now, he would probably be number 2 behind Scott. I think he probably has a better roster, but power rank, you got to put the undefeated team up there. Maish is on fire. Watch out. Rob! It feels like all of Rob's losses are just brutal. Kind of like Rag, who we'll get to. Great week. 125 is going to win you like 75% of your games in this league, maybe more. Just other than Jonathan Taylor and Baker, it was just mid. Nobody really hit their projections. Godwin was a miss. I think he barely did worse than BTJ, but that's going to be interesting. BTJ is officially getting scary to play with, so I get why Rob benched him, but... Oh, he didn't. He's in. Who the fuck did Rob have on the bench? He's got someone on the bench. Oh, Rome was out. Roma Dunes is out. Yeah, Rob will be fine. He lost to Marion Hampton, so he's going to need a new running back. Don't know where he's going to find one. Everyone's injured. That's why I'm convinced no trades have happened. Everyone's just too injured to trade. But yeah, Rob, tough break. Might have to hit the market. O'Marion Hampton, IR. Tough. Good win, Kyle. And now we get to the second best game of the weekend. Rag defeats Ish by 1.36. Brutal for Ish. I think this dropped Ish to 2-3 and brought Rag up to 2-3. So big game for Rag to get off the bottom and big game for Ish to fall out of the playoffs right now. Banger matchup here. Love it. This was another one that went into Monday Night Football. Rag needed 1 point from the Jaguars defense, and holy fuck, they took him on a roller coaster. At one point deep into the second half, they got down to 1 point on the dot. Rag was winning by like 0.3 or something. And then the pick 6 happened, and Rag went up to 9 points for the Jags. And then Mahomes fought back, and they went all the way back down to 2, and that's where it ended. We thought OT was going to send Rag into a spiral. It was going to get awesome. But alas, Trevor Lawrence got up, got in, whatever. I'll finish up with Rag here. He didn't waste the CJ Stroud game. Good for him. Couldn't afford to waste CJ Stroud's one good game. And like I said in my predictions, Javonte against the Jets defense. Free. And that's all you needed. 123. Like I said with Rob, if you get into the 120s in a 14-man, you're going to win a lot of games. Kamara's scary. Speaking as someone who just traded for him in another league. Anyway, Ish's team. Ish, there's no real way you should have lost this matchup. I'll say it. You got 31 from Kyron. You got 27 from JSN, not Egbuka. Egbuka played in that game, and they both went to Ohio State. That's where Anyway, you got a Cortland Sutton game. Nick Chubb was okay. Jahmyr Gibbs was solid. Kyler was even solid. But you started Noah Fant, who I don't think played, and you had Njoku on your bench with 18.7, and you had Johnson, the Giants tight end, on your bench with 21.3, and you had Kendrick Bourne on your bench with 24. I don't blame you on that one, but still. And you started the Bucs defense, who has had one decent week. You started them against a really good offense. It's on you. Rag, good win. Keep yourself off the bottom. Good job. Uh-oh. Don't let them get hot. I finally have a winning record this week. Went 5-2, bringing myself almost up to even on the season. It's always easier to pick as the season goes on. The buys help. You know the team's better. But yeah, huge for Kamish. I will be back tomorrow for predictions. This was the best week by far. so far.